warrior, Hollywood is burning down. There's really nothing left. What are my observations? One that started fresh out of school in the music business, not realizing as a young person a lot of the things that were really going on behind the scenes. I was always very serious about my work. So therefore, I did not display, in my opinion, looking back, right? You're an expert when you get older, vulnerabilities because exploiters, traffickers, they look for the vulnerability in people and that's where they move in. They're very smart about this, okay? So they're not going to go after some young woman who is not batting their eyelashes and hear me out about this, or says, I'm taking my work very seriously, blah blah blah. They're going to go after that one who does act coy and cute, and that's another story because a lot of girls are conditioned to this or see this, especially today online. We didn't have the internet then in the late 70s, early 80s. But here's what I want to say. We have a lot of stories coming out now about it started with that Me Too movement, which I'm going to say was very good, but this exploitation has been happening since the beginning of time. This is nothing new. But what I want to point out is those who have witnessed it and come forward now and things like that. And I'm talking about those, in the business of, we're going to use Hollywood for shorthand, entertainment business, music business, Broadway, complicit, complicit, complicit. We've got so many names now. I mean, from traditionally this Epstein, as we hear about, and that got the most media attention along with Weinstein. You've got Kevin Spacey. Today you have Jared Leto. You have just so many names being leaked. You had Danny Masterson. That I want to say those around are just maybe as complicit for not speaking up. But then again, many of us didn't know what these things were. We didn't witness them directly, so I'm not going to hold everybody responsible. But here's what we learned from that, and here's what I want to take away from this video, is that today we know so many more things. And we do have the internet we can leverage for good. And we do have resources we never had before. And we are discussing things we've never discussed before. So in 2026, it really is your duty. This is not the world we grew up in. For our young people, our kids, our youth, we have to do better. We have to mentor. We have to guide. Kids like structure. Even difficult teenagers who you want to rip your hair out, you can make a breakthrough, believe it or not. We got plenty of studies from educators to psychologists, psychiatrists, medical doctors, everybody, that they do want attention, structure, connection. Connection is the word I'm going to keep using because so much violence and things are happening online because kids are seeking, and our young people, okay? Young people, I'm talking about 20s, okay? Connection. Why recently here in New York, an article came out that more Gen Zers are spending, now whether it's true or not, see, that's another thing. Unless I wrote it myself, I tend to pick apart things because I don't know in this day of AI and in this day of everybody shooting their mouths off and the propaganda. I don't know if it's exactly true, but the article I want to share with you was Gen Zers are spending their weekends, home in their pajamas, on the couch. Most of their friends are on their phone online. Now, we have plenty of studies that say most young people do spend up to 9 hours a day online, right? Could be their phone, could be their laptop, Chromebook, could be their gaming console, whatever it is. But they're saying, well, they don't have the money to go out. Young people never really had, let's think about this, a lot of money. Now I'm going back to the 70s and early 80s, okay, when I was young, but young people found a way to always go out, right? So I'm not buying that one. Number two, I will buy they are feeling depressed. And I think this whole proliferation, COVID and that period and being home and you can go on a Zoom for work in your pajamas and wet hair, like, is embedded now into the culture, and we have to kind of break it or break away from that. And I do see trends of that happening. Again, I'm in New York City, and if I'm out walking somewhere, going to a meeting or something I need to do 8 a.m. in the morning, and I'm walking across town, I am seeing a lot of young people, a lot of young men dressed in suits and young women in what I would call, office attires. It's a good sign. So I'm just pointing out that it's our job to help these young people. Okay, we've got these articles of more people living at home. They can't afford houses. They can't afford this. They're being replaced by AI. I'm not saying that's not happening, but again, as the adults and the leaders, it's our job to guide them to figure it out and help them and connect with them. It can be done. So many young people report to us that yes, it may be hard to put down the devices, but even if you start with 30 minutes a day, and you may get up to, there are different groups across the United States. Of course, you don't hear about them because why would media, deem boring or something? Why are they going to cover? It's always sensationalism for clicks and likes and online content. That there are certain groups that there's one here in Brooklyn, in New York, where on every Sunday, these are teenagers, by the way, they meet in a park at a certain spot every Sunday, and none of them use phones, devices for that entire day. They just don't. So some of the same ones show up every week, some don't, but their only connection is, well, if they have a landline, okay, which we also have articles pointing out more kids are asking for landlines in their homes, which is not a bad idea. Remember the old telephone table in the home in a community kind of spot where you had the table with the notepad next to it? And maybe if you were lucky, and I was a lucky teen, I had the Pink Princess extension phone in my bedroom that if I wanted to talk on the phone, I had that phone. But it was all the same family number, so my mother could pick up down at the main phone on the table or the kitchen. Remember the kitchen wall phones? And she could say, I need the phone if you could get off. But I'm just saying there are all kinds of little tricks in 2026. We have to recognize with all of the studies we have now, all of the mental health studies, especially coming out about kids and young people, we can and must do something, and that's getting off the devices as much as possible. We know we are pro-innovation and pro-technology. We're not trying to ban or get rid of. We don't like the word ban. We don't like any of that stuff. It is about in your home, taking control. Parents are the first line of defense, caregivers. But I do have to ask about all those kids who don't have parents or caregivers. What about our foster kids? That's another program. We have such a problem. That whole system has to be retooled, redone. We've been talking about it for years. What's happening with those kids? Who's watching out for those kids? And that's why I'm saying, as a community, every little bit you can do. If you see something, say something. You will not get in trouble. If you see always a 911 report, always you can call your local FBI office to make a report. Always 1-800-THE-LOST if you think a child doesn't belong with that adult. You're in an airport, you're in a park, you're in a public bathroom. Your gut kind of tells you. And again, you won't be held responsible. You're simply giving a child, perhaps, a chance to escape maybe some exploitation, abuse. So I think it's really time that we buckle down, and I kid you not, and if it's 5 minutes a day, we get off those devices. Starts in your home. You got to talk to your kids. I know I'm a broken record because people tell me I am. I don't care. Understand you probably bought these devices, so you have every right to find out to the best of your ability, because kids are savvy and smart and can hide things. What apps and games are they on? And are you buying, from the App Store and the child or teenage using your credit card? Like, understand, yeah, this game may say for 12 plus. Watch it yourself first, because we know over 60% of these age ratings are incorrect. And these apps contain, sexual content, not suitable for a child. That's up to you what you want your child to witness, hear, learn about. There's something called parental autonomy, but we're giving you sound the alarm that you got to do your homework and your work these days. It's not so easy. Understand 0 to 3 should never have screens in front of them. When I'm on an airplane frequently, I always see a child on an iPad. I understand parents are desperate to keep kids quiet and entertained, but there's other things you can do, okay? And boredom is good. Boredom is good, because out of boredom, we know, comes creativity. So let the kids scream and kick a little bit, tell you repeatedly they are bored. They will figure out eventually something to do, and they will not be bored anymore. Let us come together. Let us talk about all these issues. Let us really, really buckle down, getting back into the school year, what's going on. Because remember, our hashtag at The Warriors is community creates change. Go to our resource page at lynswarriors.org. Reach out to me, Lynn at lynswarriors.org, and let us all make an effort to do a little bit better each and every day.